All right, so we are out here in Windsor, Colorado. We're doing a commercial shoot. It's a building that had some businesses in it, and they're going to tear down a lot of walls and kind of remodel it for a different purpose. So let's get started with our standard shoot, and then we will do an ab rack on this. So that means we're going to go through and do a manual drone deploy capture. So let's get started.
Take off.
So, and before that, I did check all my settings. It's key to check all your settings. Here's your building. HDR 16:9. Turn down the volume on that, and go to video. Make sure it's 2.7, 60 frames, MP4 auto white balance, H.264 ISO is on auto. Make sure you're saving to your SD card. And actually, I'm going to format this SD card because I have lots of shoots on it. So I'm going to format it, make sure we have lots of memory on there because it was almost out. And save original panorama to JPEG. That's just a good little backup for us. So all my settings are good. You know, as far as the HDR settings, they fail quite often. But the video, it's good to check that because I did have it fail the other day and go back to 30 frames per second 4K. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I'm just gonna, the drone's here, so I'm gonna start in the corner of this. And kind of start getting some angles here. I want to make sure you have the whole building in. You want to have corner to corner. You don't want to chop the building off at any point. And of course, whenever I do a tutorial, that's when everyone messages me. So get a nice front shot. The great thing about fall is there's no leaves, so you can actually see through the trees pretty good. It's about the only good thing about fall. So we got the front ones. I get more of a dramatic one, kind of get around this tree. And not get that other building. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to get over here because I start at this point, so I want to get it from this side too. I like to get the horizon in there. Once you get up higher, I think you have a tendency to kind of do one of these shots, which can be cool, but it's a lot of roof. And if you've ever done a shoot for Gerald Mayo in Estes Park, you'll know that he's not a big fan of showing the roofs and stuff. So actually learn from that. We always learn from our clients and say like, hey, what can we take from that? Especially clients that have been in the business for a really long time, had a great deal of success. It's good to kind of learn from their things. We're not selling roofs, but we do want to inspect the roof, so we want to make sure we have that in some aspect of our protocol. But our 360 panorama will get that. All right, so see here again. We want to see the mountain background. Kind of tell what's going on. If you're just like this, it's just like another square box. If you're like that, you're in the mountains. So just working our way around the property. I think there's a lake out here somewhere. So I always look at every building as two circles. I do a tight circle around it, kind of gets the close-ups. Then I do a much bigger circle to see if there's any cool shots to get around it. And with commercial, it's important to show the surrounding areas, see what's in the area around it. So we're gonna get more of this dramatic, high up, so you can see what's in the surrounding areas. There's a school back there,
Lake is back here.
I don't know if we'll be able to see it. Might be too far from the lake. So when you get farther back, you can kind of have a look down, but I still have the horizon. It starts to tell more of a story of what's going on here instead of just a building there. You can kind of really tell a story of what's going on. You can see the entryways and how that works. And I think we can get some more mountains over here from this angle. Also, it shows the parking. So if you're going to buy a commercial place, you want to have parking. So being able to show that from there. So see, I did 2 circles, 1 close and 1 wide. And
widen further back.
yeah, be cognizant of the views in the area. So I'm going to go over to Pano. This one's going to have back here. So on Panos, I always kind of go to the roof line. If there's 2 stories, I go to the 2nd story window. If I'm on a 1 story, I go to the roof line. And we had that question asked yesterday in a commercial. It was like 40-foot building. He's like, why are you at 45 feet? I'm like, well, the building's 45 feet. I'm right at the roof line. So
Yeah.
it's you just look at that roof line, and that gives you a good perspective of the scale of the building and everything like that.
So that helps you can see like parking and stuff better too. If you're up that high, you can kind of see a little bit further out on the property.
Yep.
Yeah, like if you're up a little bit, and it's just because like if you're down there, you know, the Matterports, you get those down low ones, you know, but you want to kind of be up and feel the size of the building, so you're up at that one. So some residentials have a walkout basement, so you're up at the 3rd level window. But if it's a 1 story, you're at that roof line.
Yeah.
And this one I'm going to do 3 sides because it has 3 entrances to the building.
So
So
you have 3 panels on one on each side.
yep.
Okay.
So instead of just front back, basically have three parts to it. So that's why I was closing the door. So we'll do a little hiding here. And one part about this job is that you get very good at hiding. So my daughters have no chance at hide and seek. I am very talented at hide and seek. All the time.
It's very true.
Good. So, again, we're kind of at that point of this, of the building. This is like right there. So, in the back, I was a little bit lower because that's where the roof line was, and this one has the point. So I'm kind of up in that point there. It almost has a 2nd story to it. This does have a 2nd story, but it's in that point there. So, kind of up at that 2nd story window. And then we'll go around to the front. And this is great. It shows some creepers back behind the truck there, looking at the drone. But it shows the parking. It shows how this kind of connects there. So this will be a great panel to have for that.
Now, will you be integrating the Panos with the drone deploy?
This is a shoot right here. So we'll do the drone deploy after the shoot. That'll be
So
totally
we're not
different.
in the current section for drone deploy.
No, this is all about we're gonna do the shoot.
Standard SOPs.
Yep. Kind of go out to that point there, kind of out there. It's a little bit off because of the tree, so I wanted to see the front door. So I'd like to be straight, but that tree's kind of like blocking me, so I moved to the left just a little bit. To really see the door completely, I would have been a lot more to the left, but then that would have been more awkward and more on this side, you know. So that's why it's a little bit off center, is because I was trying to still see the door, but you know, still be as center as possible. All right, so then I got the ones down here, then I'll go above the roof.
Just the same too. 20 feet-ish above the roof line, and then 200.
Yeah, so the way I do the roof line, I don't prejudge what my height is going to be.
Yeah.
I'll show you how I do that. And that one's there. So what I'll do is I'll go up here and I'll see if I can kind of get a good amount of the roof. See, like right there would be the whole roof. But I don't need to have the whole roof, but kind of get down there. I know I can see the whole roof well, but also be close enough to kind of get it. So what am I?
Now, at one
I'm at
point you had
56, so
mentioned.
I'm at like 30 feet above the roof right now.
One point you had mentioned when you look down, and what we've taught in training is that we do that between 50 and 80 feet. So when you look down, you can actually expand and see more of the yard and the backyard to the point where it kind of stops seeing more of the patio right against the eave or more of the front door. So we do that between 50 and 80 feet above the roof, then we do the 200. So that gives them numbers they can go off of, pretty simple.
Yeah, so I'm at 54 feet right now.
There you go.
I use the roof as a measurement, but I kind of start there. I point the camera straight down, and I just pull it up until I feel like it looks good. And a lot of times that back porch is a factor. If I can see that back porch, and sometimes I'll even move the drone over a little bit so I can see that cool patio, or if it's on both sides, I'll kind of adjust for that a little bit. So, but that's how I do it. I don't really prejudge the height. I just kind of point it straight down, and I pull it up until I feel like, all right, everything's been taken into account, and that's where I stop it. And I hit it go.
And some of the training that I've done so far has been, well, what like numbers can we have? Like what numbers should it be at? And I have to tell them all the time, it's like we have to just judge it based on, every house is different. Every commercial shoot is different. So that's why Brad's not using any numbers particularly. He's doing it by look. So
the second one, I'm up at 200 whatever feet. I kind of just take it up there. When you're down here in the flatlands, 200 feet right there is good, but I still look out. So I turn the gimbal out, I look out, and I saw a lake out there. So I kind of brought up, like at 200 I could see the lake, but at 212 I could see the lake a lot more. So that's where I stopped it. And I felt like, okay, I'm up there, I can see the lake, and just kind of put it out there so you can see that as a reference. Like, where does it feel good out there? Out here in the flatlands, 200 feet is going to do it. When you're up in the mountains, you're in a mountain bowl, where there's really high mountains around it, you may want to go 400 feet and you really get up there. And what's cool about that is when you're in a bowl up in the mountains, you start to raise up, you start to see over the peaks, and you start to see down the valley, and you start to really connect things. It's just that things are at a different scale from those mountains. It's not like where everything's like really clustered here up in the mountains. Things spread out, and those bowls really changes. So, and remember, you can go 400 feet above your highest target. So if you're on a mountain, the top of that mountain is really you go 400 feet above that. So you have a lot of elevation leeway with the law. And you can go way up there, so you can go up 600-800 feet and really get some cool panels up there. All right, so I am going to switch off my panel because I'm all done with panos. So I'm gonna switch it back to HDR, and then I'm gonna switch over to video, and I'm gonna go into my point of interest mode now. And the great thing about this is I've flown around here. I kind of have a good feel for what the height of things are around here, and point out I know where the tallest points are around here, so I kind of look at those trees there and know that those trees are my highest point. So I'm going to pick that out, and I'm going to start my 360.
Keeping in mind that when you're first flying, and of course I know you've flown quite a bit, but when you first lift off, kind of make it a habit to measure the tallest tree.
So I like to pick this point, and I've been using this technique where I change the direction, and I pick a good point, and then I start my point there using that change of direction. So I kind of get a feel for the circling around, and then I change it right at the point that I want it to be at. And that gives me a really good perspective, and I get really clean shots this way. Now I'm going to go up and go up and out a bit so I can start to get the horizon. I'm actually going to change this because I know that there's kind of boring stuff over there, and there's a boring part of this building here.
See the mountains?
And I know the mountains are over there, so I'm going to reverse it. And I don't have all the mountains, so I'm actually going to go back a little bit, and that brings the camera up nice and steady. If you don't have enough mountains, you can back it up very slowly, and it allows it to bring that camera up without having any jitters or anything like that. So if you use the gimbal, you're going to see it really fast, And that goes around, and we're farther out, you can see really what's around there. And we know that the school is kind of the end point on this. And that's where we'll stop that one. So now we have a very clean 360, and it's really created some great efficiencies because so I'm going to go into sport mode. I'm going to go down here and kind of get the main street, Gonna show this is where you enter.
Switching it back to the photo first.
Yeah, so I always start with photo because that means I framed the shot, and then I can hit the video, and I'll do like a pull back and up or something like that. I'm gonna turn around. The commercial, it's all about. Yeah, I never want to go more than 4 seconds. Really, sometimes I might hit 5 or something like that, but. I'm gonna go back here, kind of get the building we're in right here. I'm gonna get an HDR. It's nice and framed now. That sets me up for my video when I frame it. I'm gonna go up this way on this one. Kind of changes it up a bit. And now you can actually see the lake up there. I do have a height restriction here, so I can't go up too high. Alright, so now I've gotten kind of my peripherals around the area. I'm going to come down here and get my videos. I always like to start with the front for some reason. I don't think it matters, but
You take it out of sport when you do the video?
I do. That's a great reminder. It's a great question, because when you're down here you don't want to be in sport mode because you will crash. Alright, so we see that there's that light pole there. I want to make sure we're not hitting that light pole. And so I like to go out here, and then I do a little twist and kind of wraps around that building. I'm gonna do our zoom in here. Oh, my remote control battery is low. Interesting. So I'm gonna do a little zoom in. Over. And this one, I'm gonna do the side swipe. I'm gonna have our mountain view in there. So just nice side swipe. I'm gonna do the same thing like that. And then I'm gonna do kind of a zoom in from this side. Still the very back, because the zoom in was not going to be too great with it being right up against that other building. So I'm going to pick this corner, since we have kind of two sides to this building, and kind of pick this corner as our back for a zoom in. And that shows the exit, how it goes out. Alright, so that completes our shoot. And then we'll do the drone deploy. I'll do that as a separate video, since looks like for some reason my remote control didn't charge last night. So we'll end this video here, and stay tuned for the manual drone deploy we're going to do on this same shoot.